Hey, how's it going, people? Welcome back to our channel. Welcome. And on Wednesday, Carabao Cup semi-final, Chelsea versus Arsenal. It is the big one. It definitely is the big one. More pressure on Arsenal than ever, and yeah, it's against Chelsea. And 3 games in a row at the Stamford Bridge. 3 years running, to be honest. We haven't won there. It's been a 2-2 draw, 1-1 draw, and 1-1 draw this season, which overall may not seem too great. And to some degree, it's also not great, I'm not gonna lie, because for solid challengers, you would expect to win there, especially given the circumstances that Chelsea have been throughout the last few years, let's just put it that way, with them being taken over, the manager switches, the players being here or there at times. Obviously, at Emirates, we deal with them pretty much every single time. So the away game is the biggest worry, to say the least. Obviously, trophies on the line, place in the finals already partially is on the line. Obviously, semi-finals, it means 2 legs, one at the Stamford Bridge, one at Emirates. But at the moment, Arsenal are facing them at Stamford Bridge, and I don't expect an easy game whatsoever. Obviously, we just won against Portsmouth 4-1. We rotated quite heavily, obviously, in the second half. Our starring players came on, Odegaard, Timber, and so, which basically you needed to run some games in their legs as well. A tiny bit, let's just put it that way. Havertz is back. Havertz played against Portsmouth, so it's going to be very interesting to see how much he gets integrated into the game against Chelsea. And now, with Havertz being back, the big conundrum now is for Mikel Arteta. Who will he play? Will it be Gyökeres? Will it be Jesus? Will it be Havertz? Because I'm kind of in this spot with Arsenal that at the moment, I don't think Arsenal and Arteta himself doesn't want a designated striker. He wants, I think strikers at Arsenal are now going to rotate quite a bit. Obviously, if Gyökeres starts, I think it's going to be for about 60-65 minutes. He's going to basically wrestle against the Chelsea defenders, and then we're going to sub on Jesus or Havertz, basically more technical, more agile, more link-up play type of players, maybe to open up and split the defenses a bit more, which overall, I get it because it has worked before, and why not try this again, especially given the circumstances that Gyökeres is not scoring as much as people were expecting, including myself, to be honest. My expectations from Havertz throughout this season was about 20 goals, right? 20 goals in Premier League, 30 in all competitions, and he has 5 in Premier League. He has 7 overall, if I'm not mistaken. Our top goal scorer in all competitions might be Martinelli with 9. I might be getting this wrong, but potentially he's with 9. Martinelli, low-key, if you exclude Premier League, is having quite a good of a season. Hat-trick against Portsmouth, Champions League, he's carrying us like no tomorrow. So overall, in that regard, I'm not too worried. Let's just put it that way. My biggest worry is the left-back spot, because Calafiori apparently is still injured. He's projected to be back in a week or so. Hincapié, how big is the injury? Arteta is kind of very vague about giving any information regarding his injury, how that could go, where it could land, how soon he will be back, but I expect him also not be available against Chelsea, and that only leaves Miles Lewis-Skelly, a guy who was pretty much burst onto the scene last season because of Calafiori's injury, and he had a fantastic season. Obviously, towards the end part of the season, he was drained, he wasn't there. He got figured out, he got unnecessary yellows, reds, and all this stuff, but until that point, he was actually fantastic. It has come to a point where Martinelli at certain stage, Skelly for a certain stage was wanted by Real Madrid, right, at the end of the last season, to a point where he doesn't start for Arsenal, and we are looking pretty much alone. Well, we are not looking for a loan, but if we wanted to sell him, we most likely would sell him to mid-table, lower-end Premier League side, which is actually quite insane to think about at this stage, especially looking at Skelly. He wasn't great against Portsmouth. He got cooked against Liverpool massively, especially by Frimpong after Hincapié got injured. And it might be due to pace, because Skelly is not the paciest. The rapid acceleration that Frimpong possesses obviously did him massive favors. Maybe a bit different right wingers, he might do a bit better. At the same time, Skelly has not been himself, which for me at the moment, looking at whole Arsenal's defense, no matter how many injuries we have, is the biggest worry at the moment. So how are we gonna figure this out? How much Gabriel will have to help? How much maybe Declan Rice will have to help against Chelsea? That is still to be determined, because Skelly definitely looks just a shadow of himself. Obviously, he's so young. He still has lots to learn. Also, by default, he's a midfielder, so you cannot expect him to hack and figure out the system and figure out the left-back position like that, obviously. So it is a bit different. It's a bit different situation regarding everything. So we'll see how that's gonna go. Against Chelsea, overall, very tough, very physical game, I fully expect. It's gonna be interesting again if we turn back to Skelly a tiny bit, how he's gonna deal with that right side, whether it's gonna be Gusto, whether it's gonna be Reece James, or Reece James plays in the midfield. It's gonna be interesting to see how Arsenal and how Skelly deals with that, because that right side with Palmer or whoever's gonna play on the right wing is definitely gonna be a constant threat, no matter how you look at it. And for Skelly, it's gonna be another big task. Whether he's gonna step up or not, I have no idea. Obviously, I'm recording this video just before Arteta's press conference and everything, so maybe Hincapie is back, maybe Calafiori is, well, quote-unquote rushed back, if we're gonna put in that regard, but I don't see that. I absolutely don't. Hincapie I expect to be back near end of the January, Calafiori apparently in a week or so. So it's not looking great. It definitely is not looking great in that regard, but a physical tough game, it's gonna be 100%. They're gonna be a constant threat, especially at home. The Chelsea stadium is gonna be rocking, even though there are lots of Chelsea fans who want Bluco out, and to be honest, I cannot blame them, because it has been a tiny bit of shambles. But overall, for me, the biggest question mark, if I look at the game overall, it's not Mikel Arteta, it's not Arsenal, it's not Chelsea, it's not the players, it's the new manager Chelsea has hired, because obviously Maresca got sacked on New Year's, which is quite insane to think about. Obviously, it was a tiny bit expected, but also came out of the blue a tiny bit. They have hired their, well, let's just say sister team, sister team's coach Rossinier from Strasbourg. He had very decent spell there, to be honest. He did some wonders with Strasbourg overall. Obviously, some Chelsea loanees helped. And now he is at Chelsea. I think he's the first manager in about, 5, 6, if not more years, who has won the first opening game for Chelsea of any manager they have had, if not more even. And obviously it was against Charlton, it was FA Cup and everything, but still, you cannot take it too lightly at the end of the day. You genuinely cannot take it too lightly. So for me personally, Rossinier is actually the question mark, because Arteta has never played against him. And obviously vice versa, he has never played against Arteta, so it's going to be interesting to see how these managers square up against each other, because most of the time, if you look at Premier League, many teams, obviously they change managers, but they are mostly the same managers who have coached the previous team in Premier League. So more or less, Arteta knows how to play against them. So Chelsea at the moment could be a bit of a mystery, let's just put it that way. And people talk about the new manager bounce and all this stuff, so I don't know. It's only in Premier League somehow this new manager bounce is a thing, and I don't know whether it's Murphy's Law, whether it's some by weird coincidence. It tends to work at times as well, ironically enough. So, I'm not saying I'm worried about this game, but definitely I'm holding my reservations, because at Stamford Bridge, as I said, 3 years on the trot, we haven't won there. 3 draws, 1 or 2 goals scored. Even though we have been every single time favorites. We have had great seasons, let's be real. Last season, obviously 1-1, we were not that great. But before that, 2-2, again 1-1. We were the team that was on the high, and we still couldn't get the job done. Obviously, this season we are much more consistent, much more resilient, especially defensively, because with all the defensive injuries we have had, and the substitutions, backups that have come in, just proves that how good depth we have defensively. Because we have withstood, obviously it has been a bit more shaky, but we still are on top of the table. We didn't concede too many goals. We have conceded 2 goals this season on 3 occasions, if I'm not mistaken. Against Villa, against Sunderland, against Bournemouth. Besides that, we can concede 1 goal per game max, right? So it always is gonna put us into the game. For me, the performance is the big thing. How we gonna play against Chelsea, and how attack is gonna fare against Chelsea. Yes, Chelsea have weaknesses, that goes without saying. The defense is a bit of a liability. Midfield is with Enzo injury and everything. I don't know if Caicedo is available or not, because people say he's not. I'm totally just blanking on top of my head. If he's not available, that definitely with Andre Santos is definitely gonna raise some questions, let's just put it that way. But goalkeeping as well is a bit weak. I was talking also to Chelsea fans during summer. They said they were saying that they need a goalkeeper, maybe one more center back, one more midfielder, and all this stuff. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how we square up against them, how everything is gonna pan out. But as I said, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be physical. Stamford Bridge is gonna be rocking no matter what because it's a cup semi-final. Chelsea again are very close to getting to a final, another chance to win another trophy because under Maresca they won the Club World Cup, they won the Conference League. Yes, people dismiss the Conference League, but you still have to win it. Let's be real, you still have to win it. So ultimately, I'm not expecting an easy game. I'm expecting a tight game. I'm expecting a rough game. And 3 years in a row there has been draws. We need a win there. We need a win there. So my prediction for this game is 2-1 Arsenal win. I'm not too sure how that's gonna pan out, but attack is rocking for us. Martinelli as well against Portsmouth rose out of nowhere as a threat on corners, right, on set pieces, even though Portsmouth were not great defending them, let's be real. But he became the focal point, and you would not expect a player of Martinelli's stature to be such a threat in the set pieces, right? Martinelli again proved that he's quite a great, he can be a very good striker. Why not we are using them? That is another mystery, of course. I expect the full strongest 11 available at the moment because we rested pretty much everyone against Portsmouth and we still got the job done. So it's gonna be interesting. For me, the question mark is how we're gonna deal the left back situation, how that's gonna get figured out, and more importantly, what's gonna be the striker position there? Who's gonna start? Jesus, Gyökeres. I fully expect Gyökeres, with most likely Jesus coming on off the bench potentially. Maybe there will be something different. I think Trossard Martinelli debacle is gonna be very interesting because Trossard in general does well for Arsenal against Premier League teams. He's the leader in Premier League compared to Martinelli, who again is the leader in Champions League. But Martinelli has just come off a hat-trick. You cannot joke him. But when I say that, obviously Eze scored a hat-trick against Spurs and he instantly got dropped. So definitely there will be lots of question marks. As I said, I think Arsenal are gonna win 2-1. Let me know down in comments below, what did you expect from the game, what do you expect from the starting 11, and what are your predictions. And people, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe, and see you at the game review. Peace.